the first thing that we need to understand about intuition is that it can only be accessed when one has a conscious awareness and a conscious connection to the spiritual heart. And to understand that connection, we need to understand what the spiritual heart is. So you know that I talk regularly, most likely by now, about the difference between the head and the heart. Essentially categorizing life into two distinct flavors as us being human beings. One is the human, the other is the being. And one is the head, one is the heart. The head's the survival brain, fear consciousness, and then the other one is fulfillment consciousness. And that is the heart. The heart is our connection, direct and conscious connection to spirit. Now, I'm going to give a few pre-frames around this topic that I feel is important context. We come into this human body from oneness. That's the spiritual heart. Some people call it oneness, some people call it isness, some people call it amness, some people call it the divine, some people call it the quantum if they're more science-driven, some people call it the subatomic world, some people call it God, some people call it the superconscious. It's got lots of different names. It's all the same thing. It's the unmanifest. It is the place through which everything is created, and it's stored infinite potential. Timeless love. And this aspect of life, which is unmanifest, completely complete. It's perfect, it's whole, it's full. It is one. Now, when this intelligence is completely one, there's no separation in it. It's just togetherness. And so it wants to experience all the different unique flavors of itself, all the different infinite possibilities of itself. And the only way that it can experience it is to separate and forget the fact that it is oneness. So, for example, metaphorically speaking, if oneness is the color white, if white has light shine through it, it projects a rainbow out. So even though white is one, within it is all the colors of the rainbow and all the in-between colors of that spectrum. But in order to experience blue, blue needs to separate from all the other colors. On the same token, black's the same. If we get every single color and we combine every single color together, within it's going to become black. But if we just want to be complete oneness, just complete black or everything, then experiencing every color in a big like mixed soup that brings together the color black, in order to experience red, we need to separate and see them in isolation from each other, the different colors. And so as we manifest here as examples, like every other form, anything else that's perceivable is a flavor of oneness, having become separate so that the universe can experience itself in its unique differences. So that's what polarity or duality is known as, because we're separating and we're bringing them into the two positive and negative charges, as is mirrored through the different ingredients of an atom, with the positive, the proton, negative, the electron, and the neutron. It's got a positive and negative charge. There is that duality, that polarity within it. But in the unmanifest world, it's just oneness. There isn't positive and negative, it's everything. Well, there is positive and negative, it's everything, but it's unmanifest. And so the universe manifests to experience all the different colors. Sure, it's black and it's white, It's everything and it's nothing. But to experience that wholeness as it is just complete wholeness. It can't be experienced in all the different unique flavors of itself without separating itself. So then we can have orange, and we can have burgundy, and we can have turquoise, and we can have jade, and we can have all these different colors to experience, browns, even beige. It's all different separate flavors of oneness. So what's this got to do with intuition? So we come here in order to forget. We come here, and in order to be able to be separate, what Johnny Pollard has once coined the most powerful force in the entire universe is ignorance. Ignorance. As consciousness, or the unmanifest, shapes itself into manifest form, it needs to forget that it is oneness in order to have the experience of what it's like to be blue, red, pink. In order for consciousness to know what it's like to be a book, it needs to separate from oneness. If not, it would be everything in stored potential. And same with you. You're a unique flavor, or as Ram Dass said, we're all just God dressed in drag. We're all just God or oneness experiencing itself in different unique flavors, different storylines. So we come here for an experience and we forget. We come here, we've forgotten. We come here and have an experience that's unique and separate from oneness, even though we come from oneness and we're going back to oneness. And so that journey back to oneness is what is inevitably happening on our soul journey across this lifetime and multiple lifetimes. And the relevance of this and intuition is that intuition is the flow of wisdom that wakes up within us as we begin our journey back to oneness. So someone can be a human and disconnected from their being because they're more separate in their consciousness, and they're more in the forgetting stage. They're more in the hypnosis stage. That ignorance is strong. But then as they start to wake up and they start to see, then that flow of wisdom where the universe is kind of calling them home with these little breadcrumbs, these little clues of the wholeness that is the truth of what they are and the fact that they are. It's just like, if you've ever seen these movies where someone forgets like 50 First Dates with Drew Barrymore and Adam Sandler, or these other like Groundhog Day, these ultimate timelines where people keep waking up in the same day. And over time, they've got to try to give themselves clues to remember you're stuck in this simulation. And the universe gives us intuition, these impulses that feel expansive for our heart to start to lead us towards journeys and opportunities of growth, so we can reintegrate parts of ourselves that we've rejected, and we start to recruit or remember, get other members back and put them into our flavor. So we were just green and strictly green or emerald green, and then the universe is giving us these intuitive impulses to be confronted with situations. And now that we're waking up, that confrontation allows us to remember our blueness, and then we mix that, and the emerald and the sky blue together becomes more of a turquoise, and we're slightly more integrated and slightly more whole as we're moving one step towards back to oneness. And that's the role of intuition. Intuition is a natural opening to divine wisdom when we are at a point where we are starting to see more of the truth of how life works.